Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast, built for real estate professionals that want to work less, earn more, and make an impact in their community. For information on how you can become part of the estate professionals community, visit probatemastery.com. Welcome, folks. I'm in a little different room here than our normal environment. I'm watching a dog that just got neutered and trying to keep him from doing anything too reckless and dangerous while my wife's gone, and he's got 5 days of pent up energy. So I'm hoping I can keep him under control. Fortunately, we've got David Pinnell here, who's gonna kind of talk about some processes and some updates on what he has going on in his market. So David's going to carry a bunch of the call. We've got some other folks that I'm sure are going to be able to jump in. So I'm going to kind of turn this over to David here in a second, let him run, and then I'll chime in as we get going. And of course, anybody that has any questions or comments during the call, you can raise your hand. So you just jump down to the react button, click react, click raise hand, and David or Queenie will call on you. Queenie will be monitoring the chat to see if there's any chatted in questions. And I'm going to be a fly on the wall and a spectator, and I'm sure that I'll chime in a little bit while we get going. I think everybody knows, but I'm Bruce. This is our community. Okay. This is going to go on to the Probate Mastery YouTube channel. It's also going to be on the I get Estate Aid Network, David, in my mind all the time. Estate Aid Network's kind of my local doing business in the probate space business. So Estate Professionals Mastermind, that's what I was looking for. Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast is where you guys can find it if you're looking for a podcast to listen to on the road or at night while you are falling asleep. You can go back and listen to all these calls. And with that said, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to David. What is going on, man?
Not much. Just from the call before, I just wanted to go over kind of how we get to a cash offer. I don't know if any of y'all do remodels in the group, but in probate, you're gonna find that it's going to be your advantage to build that confidence. So I just wanted to go over that today. And if you have any questions, I just noticed I labeled it wrong, but it's my remodel cost sheet on how I kind of guessed estimate the sales price and the purchase price and the repairs that I'm going to make to a property. Sometimes I usually fill it out before I even get to a house, and then I'll adjust it in my head while I'm at the property, depending on what the house needs. And then I can make an offer. I usually try not to leave an appointment if they're leaning towards a cash offer or an offer. I try not to leave without writing them an offer. You'll find that a lot of your competition is they're not going to know exactly because they don't have any experience with remodels, or they're going to recommend that they complete all the remodel before they even list the property as a realtor. So today, hopefully I can build confidence in your mind, and maybe you'll go out and try a project or two, or maybe close on a house, get some private lending. Or use your own cash, equity line of credit, whatever it takes to close on a property. So as we go, I'm going to share my screen, so I'm not going to see y'all. So if you want to chime in, just speak up and ask a question. But we get going if you want.
I'm going to say, if you want to chime in, raise your hand, and myself or Queenie will interrupt David. I don't want a bunch of people talking on top of each other. So we'll have myself or Queenie interrupt David and bring you up for a question. And David, just make sure, because this goes on YouTube, if there's just make sure there's not a phone number or address displaying on your sheet when you share it. If there is, YouTube will delete and permanently ban our video from running. I had that happen a couple of weeks ago where our YouTube content got taken down, and I can't get it back up because I showed addresses.
Even if it's on Zillow, you think, Bruce?
I don't know. I am not sure. I guess we could try it and maybe blur out an address. I'm not sure what happens if it's on Zillow.
I'll just show the photos somehow. I'll just take that link. I was gonna.
Show it, and then we'll fix it in editing. I just don't want to have a wall of phone numbers and addresses up on the screen that
Oh no. Yeah.
make it really easy for YouTube to take a good call down.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So just to jump into it, I think when I think about being a real estate agent, I actually got into real estate after I remodeled a couple houses and spent a lot of money and didn't make a lot of money on houses in the very beginning. So because I would do some customizations that I would thought would sell a house, and it's not the case. So I'm gonna go over. If we have time, I'll go over what I think what a full remodel looks like in your head. Something that you could hotel, which is that you're going to close on it and just clean out the property, or you can make ready a house like they would do if someone like a tenant moved out of a property after they leased it. You could close on a property and clean it up just enough to make a profit on it. So I just bought a apartment complex that I listed for the family. It was they wanted a little bit more than what I could offer as a cash offer at first. So we listed the property, and we actually had it under contract with the buyer, but some reason the lending just wouldn't go through. So I after 62 days under contract, I just said, "Hey, will you accept my original cash offer?" And that was for this apartment. It was around 64,000. It's a small deal, but the same principles lie. It's a 1 bedroom. Square footage is 551 square feet. So let me just share my sheet with you. And we have this one listed. And I put the Excel sheet. This is very simple math, subtraction, addition, percentages. It's just, it's an easy sheet to kind of just throw in some numbers. Once you could either pre-qualify the person before you go to an appointment or a house, or you could have an idea of kind of what you can subtract or add on when you're at the property. But for this one, I removed the address for you, Bruce, so you don't have it. It's an apartment in Arlington, Texas, that we got through an attorney referral. And so just kind of give you an idea, we spent a total of $15,000 so far on the property. I thought I was going to spend $12,000. So give you kind of I was a little above. My finished product is a little bit above what I thought I was going to spend, because I had to buy a new washer and dryer. No, I mean laundry, stackable washer and dryer. So, but to give you guys an idea, this is kind of I kind of notate everything I'm going to purchase for a remodel, so I could have an overall idea for what it's going to cost. And then my second column over here is just going to be I can't hear you. Bruce, you're muted.
Okay.
Oh.
If you're on a Mac, can you hit Control Plus on your keyboard and enlarge the screen a little bit?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good. Okay. So when I first get a call for a house and then an appointment for a house, I'm going to do just to get an idea of what I think I could purchase a house for and what I could sell it for. This is a small example. Usually our houses in Texas are a sales price around $300,000. And I could usually put $80,000 into a property. So that means I need to buy it for minus 80, minus 30 profit, and minus 15 closing cost on the buy sell and the sell side. So I need to take those numbers off a house if I'm going to make a cash offer on a property. It's not perfect, but you want to go for the no when you're in an appointment. They're always, it's 50-50 when someone's going to tell you if you're actually going for the intention to buy the property. If you build rapport with somebody and kid gloves, you could actually throw out a number to somebody by doing a quick calculation and talking about the repairs. Don't beat them up on repairs, but you can kind of get an idea where they want to be at for a number wise. And they're already going to have another realtor in their ear or somebody else saying they're going to give usually a better price. But that's where it comes down to just rapport and having a good connection with somebody. But on this apartment, the overall sales price for the complex was, if you look on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, these are just estimates. I don't hold much leverage on them. MLS, look at the average, the highs and lows of the apartment. And unlike a house, this one is on the first floor, so it actually increases in value because it's not on the second or third floor, obviously. And then I take an average price in mind in 113 that I think I could sell it for after the remodel, and I take 97% of it because I want to be less than everybody else in the complex when I finish. But this is kind of what you're looking at when I go in to put a bid on a property. I want to itemize everything that I think I'm going to spend money on. For the apartment, we bought new locks for the place, new keys. It cost, the actual family actually cleaned out the whole place. The 175 was just notated for just getting rid of the appliances, and then getting the carpet removed. I had a day labor go over there and just yank all that stuff out and remove it. But just to go into flooring or paint, I want to show you what I started with first. Well, there's the address, but oh well. This is what we started with. Let's see here. No. Let's see. Sorry, guys. That's just video. And I had the photos up before. I don't know what I do with them. 1 second. Oh, here we go. This is what we started with, so you get an idea. Obviously, most of your probate properties are going to look like this when you walk into them. It's just full of stuff. Brown cabinets full of just stuff because obviously someone passed away. And I'll show you what we end up with real quick. So I was prepared. Here's the same view of the kitchen. So
that's done. So you got first picture was junked. What'd you do to the kitchen?
We painted the cabinets, painted the whole interior, replaced all the flooring, and then bought all new appliances and put knobs on the cabinet. Well, the knobs were there, I believe. And then we bought new light bulbs for the whole unit. So they're nice and bright, not yellow lights. I'm going to try to go back to the Excel sheet. Trying to find my click. There we go. So basically, I just go down this list. If someone calls in, and I'll ask enough questions about the condition of the place, not to dig too deep into it. But this is after I finished, so I know exactly what I spent. My original guess estimate when I went over there was about $12,000. So I got really close. I spent $15,000. And just to give you kind of an overall average, when you're guessing on paint, you're going to spend about $4 a foot in Texas. And then for flooring, it's going to be about $5 a foot. So if you take the overall square footage of our property, this one is 551 square feet, real small. But if you have an average house that's in Dallas Fort Worth, that's 2,000 square feet, you're going to spend about $10,000 for flooring. And then for paint, you're going to spend about $8,000 for the interior. And typically for my numbers for an exterior paint job, if it has siding or brick or trim work that you need to fix, it's going to be about half the cost of it is the inside. So if you're going to spend $8,000 on paint inside, you're going to spend about $4,000 fixing up the outside for the whole house. So to give you an idea there. And when you're, someone raised their hand, but when you're looking at, when you're looking at your, I had a plan with this call, but I'm just kind of going everywhere. But when you're thinking about making an offer on property and you're thinking about the full remodel cost or just having, you're thinking about your main items and your cosmetic work. The one thing that I think about is your windows, your roof, your foundation, your AC unit, heating and cooling, and then your plumbing. Those things could be generally cleaned up and serviced for about $7,000 a piece. So those are big ticket items. Yes, it depends if the house is larger than 1,800 square feet. It's going to be a little more than that, but generally it's about $7,500 for those items. And then cosmetic, each. And then cosmetic wise, you're spending about a total. I think it's I think it's $20 a foot on just your cosmetic items, your paint, your flooring, new appliances, countertops. You're going to try, when you're looking at a house, you're going to try your best, which is everybody likes to think about tearing out walls and getting into the sheetrock. You're going to try your best not to delay your project or delay or have more money out by going in and trying to remove a wall to open up a property. That's probably we try to get a house done if we're going to close on it within 6 weeks. And if you're delayed at all in the beginning with trash or permits, you don't want to increase that time frame with getting the city in there to approve moving walls. It's going to add up probably 90 days to your project. So then you get into your other column here where you have all your private money lending and the cost of money. If you borrow from a past client or a hard money lender in the area, it adds up quickly. So if you have any questions right now, I could definitely take a question or two so we can stay on path here. You can understand my mindset here.
I think, who do we see? Whose hand was up a little bit ago? Let me get in. Look, no hands up right now. Queenie, what do we have?
Okay. Yep. So we have here a question from Jeff. Jeff Friedman, he asked, David, is this a condo in a complex? The one that you showed us a while ago?
Yeah, it actually is. So we started out originally when I met the seller or the seller's family, we actually helped them clean out the property and then we listed the property. So it's a small apartment in a bigger, there's like 11 buildings and this is in building A of the complex. So we typically don't buy anything that has an HOA payment on a monthly basis because it's typically pretty hard to sell. But the payment on this one is only $250. So if you add up insurance and water, it doesn't really cost too much other than someone's going to spend that money. So that's a good question.
Mm-hmm. And we have another question from Gerlinda. She's asking, what was the initial convo to say he'll buy it? Oh, to say, I'll buy it. Yeah.
Oh, I originally made an offer at $57,000, which I purchased at $63,900. So, and I'll tell you how that comes into, because when I look at a property, if I'm going to touch it or close on it, I want to make $30,000. I want this number to be at least $30,000, no matter what the cost or the repairs are. So all these numbers over here have to be adjusted if you're going to do that, and your big items have to be adjusted. And you could fudge the numbers to make it work. Absolutely. But this one is kind of a special case because I was going to I listed it just to help the family. And it was going to be a listing where I was going to make 3% on, I think we had an offer at 89,000. So it's like $2,500. So since that didn't close, now it turns into a $20,000 gain after I spend some money and spend extra 60 days on it. So in my mind, it works out, but it is taken up for the last 9 days. It's been a little distracting to get it done, but it's been very efficient.
Okay, I think Noriel has a question, but before
Go for
that, there's another question from Garlin about the cost. What was the exterior paint estimate again?
Well, I didn't have to do anything on the outside other than paint the front door. This is my only exterior cost, as I have zero here because it's an apartment building. So they take care of everything on the exterior. So I painted the front porch, the concrete, and then the front door and the closet door because there's a closet door outside. So it only costed me $500 for this. So on normal, it's usually half this number for me. So we paid $2,200 to have the unit painted, and then another $500 for the front door and the concrete outside to be just so the curb appeal is good. But typically on a house, it's going to be about half that. So it'd be around $1,200. That's a safe way to look at it when I'm estimating what it's going to cost me to have a contractor do it.
So interior is $4 a foot in general, and exterior is $2 a foot. Fair?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. I took out the equation here because that's what I spent. But usually my guess estimate is you take, you got B3 is what's 500 square feet, 551 square feet, and then you have times 4, you get 2,200 feet. And I put the Excel sheet so y'all can play with the numbers as well. And, the best thing to do is maybe try it on your house and see how it works out. The other big item that you could go over when you're trying to guess estimate on a make ready, I'm not talking a full remodel. Full remodel in the Metroplex is going to cost about 85 grand to go in there and redo the roof, maybe the plumbing, look at the foundation, possibly 11 to 13 windows. And then you got all the cosmetic stuff. But just to make a house ready, most of your probate properties you're going to walk into, the descendant most likely replaced the AC unit within the last 5 years. They most likely put new windows in a property. That's what I see. And they most likely had an insurance claim in the last 8 years that they did a roof to. So when you're making offers on houses, you may only have to do a clean out, which is going to cost you about $2,500. And then you have your cosmetic work, which is around probably less than $16,000. But when you're talking to a family that needs to sell the property to pay off the estate or to disperse funds or follow the will, they're not going to have the money to do that. So they're going to take a discount on the property to sell it. But if you have the confidence, you're going to go in and look at a house and you're going to automatically know that you could probably get into a house less than 16 grand plus your hard money cost, which is about 5,000. So that's a total of about $21,000. But you can still make a profit of probably 25 to 30,000 on a house if you decide to close on it and not assign it to a buddy or another buyer that you know.
David, do you try to make 30,000 or 30% or whatever you can?
I try to make as much as I can, but
30,000 is your minimum, right?
Yeah, I try to fudge the number so I can make 30,000. That is true. If I'm going to close on it after I pay the closing costs on the front side and the back side, and this is where the numbers actually come in. So you have your average price up here that I look at before I even go to a house. I'm not trying to get real granular about it. I'm just trying to see what For MLS, if you have access, you're a realtor. I'm looking at the high and the low in that neighborhood, in that school district. I'm just taking a quick glance. This takes me now about 10 to 20 minutes before an appointment. So I can have some kind of range when I go to a house that haven't have the confidence level to make an offer. If they're like here, when they said they didn't want to take 55, they had an offer at, I think when I went to, they said they had an offer at 69, which that 69 didn't work out. So they listed with me.
Do you know why the 69 didn't work out? I'm going to guess that it was a wholesaler that didn't have the capability of closing, but do you know?
That's it. They called back and said that the guy never sent them an offer. They just came by and said they could pay 69 and never got anything written down from them. So
Yeah.
I actually got the call back, I think 40 days after I went. I didn't think I had the business. I thought it was just one of those things that, I was too low or it just didn't work out. But then they ended up calling me and going with me. So, but this is how I look at hard money. I borrow money at 2% as a funding fee. So that's 2% off of this number, how it highlights it here, 63. Property insurance, it's a lot lower on this, but I usually gauge property insurance about $200 a month that I'm going to hold a property. If you open the Excel sheet, either on Facebook or in this group, I have a full remodel here for estimates. Everything's line item, so you won't miss anything looking at a house. And you could add line items if there's something you need to add. But for this apartment, the insurance is $140 a month, so I put $300. I'm only planning to own this thing for 2 months. Usually insurance depends on your hard money lender. They want you to pay in advance the year. So sometimes you may have to at closing pay 6 months or a year. This hard money guy didn't make me do that because we do plenty of deals with them. I just had to pay the monthly to the insurance company. So I paid in advance 90 days. So it's actually $450. Closing cost for title policy was $1,500. I think it's 14. No, this is actually, it was 14,
That was title
13.
insurance? That was title insurance or attorney fees?
Title insurance for title policy.
Okay.
All the closing costs were right here. So
Really?
yeah, it was $750 for the attorney fees and then $800, I think, for the title policy.
Did you prepay taxes?
Yes,
Yeah. And that's included there?
everything's included. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you
So this
close
is
at the end of the year? I'm just trying to figure out why the prepaid taxes were so low.
It's just an apartment.
Okay.
They haven't adjusted. The guy's owned it for 20 years and he passed away. So I'm gonna have to. We tried to adjust for that when we do close, but I think the taxes on the unit they're just really low for being. I think they gauged the value on the tax rolls of being $33,000.
Yeah.
So it's really low. But on a typical house, that's the one thing you want to look out for when you're closing on probate deals, because usually the person hasn't, the taxes are locked in, at least in Texas they are. And when you go to sell it, they're going to adjust for the actual property value. They're going to adjust on you in between. You may have an extra, there's one case that we had an extra $4,500 of money owed. But typically we'll just cover that in the beginning. So you're exactly right, Bruce. I'm going to pay probably a commission of 2 to 3% to a buyer's agent, most likely. Hopefully not on this because it'll lower my net even more. I'm going to pay about $500 a month for the interest to own this property. So I'm counting on about 3 months. This is insurance months, 5 months. Where do I have this at?
Hey guys, I'm butting in here with a quick ask. If you're getting value out of this coaching today, I want to invite you to check out my Probate Mastery trainings over at www.probatemastery.com. Probate Mastery is for you if you're an agent or an investor that wants to work with motivated sellers that have inherited real estate that they don't need and in many cases can't afford. These sellers are more appreciative, willing to trust your expertise, and less likely to nickel and dime you over commission or price. Why is that? They're often in the middle of a complex probate or an estate administration process, and this means that real estate is very often a burden on them, and they simply need the help. Inside of Probate Mastery, I teach you exactly where to source your leads, how to establish value, and offer your service in a way that quickly makes you, as the professional, your market's expert in the probate space. If you want to know a little bit more, go over to www.probatemastery.com. Hope to see you guys inside of the community. Thanks.
I don't know why it said, oh, let's see. I need to adjust this number, Bruce. That's why it's 160 times 12. Oh, it didn't do it. So the total insurance for the year probably been 1920. So then that brings down. Yeah, I'll have to work on that. That's not exactly right. And then capital gains tax, actual profits 27,000, 26,300. Expenses. So it's going to be around. It's going to be around 20,000 on this one. But originally on this apartment, it was only going to be a $2,500 commission check. So it's nice to have that gain. We turned this property around in 12 days. So that I actually started working on it the weekend before I closed on it. So don't do that. Any questions at this point? I kind of want in this call, I want y'all to get confident on making offers. So whatever I need to answer, I had a good game plan.
David, did you pay any of the closing costs for the seller, or they kind of paid their own?
Actually, I didn't pay any closing costs for the seller in this one.
Oh, okay.
I paid the title policy. They had their HOA was backed up 7 months, so it's $250 a month for this unit. They had that cost. We actually split the closing cost, I believe, on this one. And then they had their mortgage. They only walked away. The seller walked away with $16,000 on this one. And it's just the low numbers. Usually you'll see 80 to 90,000 they'll walk away with for an estate.
Were they out of state?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The only thing they wanted out of the unit was a flag because their brother that died was in Vietnam. So.
And you met with them when they were in Texas. You met with them and made the offer.
Yep.
You gave them both options, and then they went with a wholesaler. And then they called you back, and then you listed it, but then you still try to push.
Yeah, I tried to even close on it before I was confident I could sell it for him. I was like, I had enough deals in the pipeline that I was like, yeah, I'll just list it for you. And so we cleaned it out, and they paid $750 for us to get everything cleaned out of the unit. And I made a video on YouTube of it if y'all want to go see it. It's right here. When did I post this? 4 months ago. So we were actually under contract for 90 days with the buyer. But some reason the financing, I had an offer at 89,000. So they had a really good offer for it as is property. But the buyer could not get the financing. They kept extending and kept extending. And then that January 5th, I was like, hey, look, I'll just close on it. The same price that they're going to net. So their net price after commissions and their closing cost to that buyer was going to be $63,900 regardless. So I paid $8,000 more than I wanted. And obviously you could tell when you're looking at your profit range, 19,000, add 8,000 to that. I would have been close to my 30 to be comfortable. So it gives you an idea. I don't like just making 20 grand because there's there's so many moving parts that could happen. The condo could raise HOA payments. The investor gets more money if it goes over 90 days. And there's a lot of just moving parts, but usually something fast like this, something you can make ready real quick. And believe it or not, most houses in probate could be done this way, because you're just cleaning out a house. You're getting rid of the smells of the old furniture, really. And then so it's not too terrible. Not too terrible.
I had a question. Are you already in escrow, or it's already sold?
No, we just listed it 2 days ago. So
Okay.
I just
Gotcha.
finished it. It took me 12 days to list this, to get it done.
Do you think things sell quickly there, or are you kind of not?
I hope so. I don't want to own it too long. I'll show you all yeah, I don't want to own it too long. I want to move on to other projects. No, it's done, but let's see here. I'll show you all
any of the repairs, or did you cover those out of pocket?
I funded $10,000 at closing with the hard money lender, and then I covered 5,000 of my own money. So I'm trying to get back to the share screen. I technically only had 5,000 out so far.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's a very safe investment.
Gary said, and I like this comment because I'm gonna speak to it real quick. But David, you as well. So Gary Smith, he said 2% hard money. Wow, that's a lot lower than I can get in South Carolina, and I would agree that 2% for the hard money is actually a pretty good deal. Just the points, the funding points.
Mm-hmm.
But there are absolutely, and it's not location specifically, there are hard money lenders out there that will do 2%. Normal is 3.5 between across the majority of hard money lenders, but there are absolutely hard money lenders all over the place that'll lend anywhere. And there are those lenders that'll go 2%. So David, was this private money or was this legitimate hard money that you got?
This is a client I turned into from an estate. I sold 5 of their houses, and then I told him that he could become a lender for me. And he's funded 5 projects for me. So it's just I've made the guy in the last 5 months over 60 grand in interest. So they're pretty happy.
Phenomenal.
This one is, he questioned it. He's like, oh, I'm only going to make $2,500. Like, yeah, but then I reminded him he just made 36,000 on the house that we did. So he quickly adjusted his mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He said, not everyone's going to be a home run for these guys. But this is really a client that I turned into a lender.
What was your interest rate, APR?
9%.
Okay, you said that already. So 9% APR.
I don't think I did, but
2 points
yeah,
up
9% on the money. So it's like, let's see here. The interest is $479.
Mm-hmm.
And then HOA payment. And then insurance is actually higher than I thought, but it's going to be $140 a month.
Yeah.
I meant to adjust that before I got on the call. So you got total payment.
Oh, look at the Excel wizard.
Oh, well. Let me just sum it up. That's the only thing I'm good at. I can't really do too much on Excel.
Hard money. There's a couple of different ways of raising money. The one that David just mentioned is one of my favorite ways of all time of getting access to capital. Is just turn clients that have inherited assets and then sell and don't know what to do with the money. Turn them into your private lenders. I have hard money offers running out of my ears. I haven't used them all, but I see 2.5, 3.5, 4 points up front. And I'm not going to endorse anyone specifically. Ironically, we do have a private money group that I'm in discussions with to make capital available to our probate mastery community. I need to push that conversation forward a little bit more. But we may have something available for the probate mastery community soon.
Good.
Little teaser. Now that I've put it out there, I'm under the gun to make it happen.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money options out there, and if you just go looking, you guys will find a two or 2.5% points hard money lender. You'll find them.
I'm trying to go through these photos, but I forget how to do it on the Mac.
Yeah, I don't know either.
These are my favorite deals. Something I could just clean up real quick. Usually we don't even paint them. We just remove everything that would have a odor, smoke, just old marriage furniture, we call it. Just to make it so it's walkable. Everything's gone. And we can usually hotel it for more than we could hold. This year I was going to do more of these closings because I've got
Isn't
3
a
or 4.
Wholetail, is it?
No, well, I guess you could. No,
You already
we
closed, so no, it's
yeah,
not a
we
Wholetail.
closed on, so it's a full remodel.
Yeah. Queenie.
Yep. Okay. So I think someone raised her hand before me. Not sure if the question
I
is already
did,
answered.
Queenie. Yeah, hi, this is Pam. I had a question on the 2%. The spreadsheet shows 13%. So to clarify, does that mean 2% was the funding fee, the points, and then the interest rate was 13%?
No, the interest rate was 9%. So it's 9% divided by 12.
What's that?
12 months.
I see where you're seeing interest loan rate. Scroll up, David. We're looking at line 16D.
Oh, this one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just a note in there. This one, yeah, 9%.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have another question from. Let's go with Jeff. I don't think this is really a question, but I think it's with the property that you showed us a while ago. So he said, David, why would you not hold and rent this property?
That's a good question. Because I could rent this for, I haven't decided yet. So I kind of just want to sell it because there's no appreciation in owning an apartment in a complex.
Mm-hmm.
They've only increased in the last 25 years. Well, they were built in the 80s. So 46 years, they've increased from 60,000 to 110. So that's a $60,000 appreciation. So in the back of my head, there's not a lot of appreciation. And that's kind of my number one thing if I'm going to hold on to a property. I do care about cash flow. I do like the tax, the tax benefits of owning a property. But I do want to see a large increase in appreciation if I'm going to hang on to something.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a lot of appreciation, someone will rent this out and tear it up. It's just part of it. Or they're going to live in it pretty hard. And then I'm going to be replacing the flooring, the paint, and the appliances again. Another $15,000 and not see the appreciation. So I'm torn on this one. I really like to keep it. But the rent payments on these, it's anywhere from $950 to $1,300. So the cash flow is at the max $400. So that's, if you have to spend in 2 years, if you have to spend another $16,000, those say $8,000, you're just breaking even. So on this one, it's not a really good example.
Got it. And we have a question about leads. So it's from Lance. Where do you get most of your leads?
From Bruce. I'm just kidding. No. I send a lot of mail out to attorneys and to the PRs. And I do sell my system. If you're interested, I'll do a separate call with you privately. But I like to do everything DIY or DIY. Is that right? DIY?
DIY?
DIY, whatever. Yeah, do it yourself. I made an Excel sheet that produces the personal letter to the PRs, and I just send out letters every Monday, or I produce them, and then somebody else puts them in the mail for me.
Okay.
So
Right. And
I get a lot of inbound phone calls from mail.
okay.
I'm going to take one of the questions, Queenie,
Okay.
only because it's an opportunity to pick on David. Garland said, "What is Wholetail it?" And I was waiting on someone to ask that question. Wholetailing a deal is when you're in Texas and you don't pronounce wholetail correctly. That's what wholetailing a deal is.
Yeah, that's true. My version, this is close. I mean, you're still, if I hotel a house, right, Bruce, I'm probably still going to close on it, but I'm just going to clean it out and do probably $2,500 worth of work on it. I'm not going to do anything else to it. I'm going to get an inspection report. I'm going to disclose everything. And I'm going to sell it just to make that 30,000. So if I, for an example, I bought one in Plano in August. We paid $235 for it. We just cleaned it out. It was already in pretty good shape and need a lot of work, but we end up making 35 on it just by cleaning it out and relisting it. But the family, they just wanted us to close on it, so we closed on it. We closed on it in 4 days. So this is the reason I wanted to get on here and just tell you, because if you're talking about making offers, use this Excel sheet, because it's going to give you the confidence to go in there and decide what you want to do, instead of just thinking it's going to cost way too much or way too little.
Does anyone have a question on whole WHOLETAIL wholetailing? Does anyone not
I still
know what
don't get it.
wholetailing? So wholetailing, that doesn't look like Garland. That looks like Garlinda. Okay.
It is, but I was driving and I didn't want to be a hood ornament, so I just had to go with what I could get up there.
Okay. So whole tailing is where you contract a house that you plan to basically flip, just like you would wholetail, except you're going to close. So you're actually going to go to closing yourself. Before you close yourself, you find your new buyer. So you would contract a house, you would get the funds ready, you would then shop that deal and find your new buyer. And instead of assigning them the contract, you would just go do a double closing. So you would close on it with your money, and then the same day or the next day or later that week, you would reclose with your buyer. So you're not waiting until you close to fix the house up. You're generally doing your repairs, if there are any. You're marketing that property, and finding your buyer before you've ever had to close, but you still close. So you're just really holding title to that property for anywhere from an hour to a week.
Yeah. Yep. Real fast.
That's wholetailing. And most of the time, you don't close until you know that you've got your next buyer lined up and under contract.
It used to 10 years ago when I started doing this, you could go to A to C, which is you contract and you sell to your buyer. Now the title company wants to know that you have the funds. So you may have to get somebody to deposit the money, which is actually also called a transactional lender, where they'll deposit the money you need to close on it. But then you have your buyer also deposit the money. So the money's there regardless. So they can't say you didn't have the funds to close on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another option for you, is if you have a buyer lined up. If you don't really want to assign it, you're just transactioning it for an hour or sometimes 3-4 days.
Yep.
This just gives you the confidence to go in. Most of your probate deals, if you're getting into it, you're going to run into situations where for a number of years, we actually sold to the same buyer every time, which ended up being a mistake because you get too committed to one person. And I hear that from a lot of people that they want to sell to their one investor friend that is going to give them money. But if you just close on a property and list it, you're going to do a lot better on it than you think.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, there's another one in the chat. So it's from Jeff. So fix and list is probably the safest, fastest way as an exit strategy.
Mhm.
Do you agree?
I
Yeah, if you got your
wholesaling is
people,
the safest, but
if you got your people in line, you don't have to spend a lot of time. Once you do a few, you'll have your contractors that you like to call. I'll pay a little more to some people that I know that I don't have to babysit. So, you may get 3 bids on someone to paint the house, but the cheapest guy is going to be where you have to clean up the windows, your overspray, and some headaches. But yeah, if you get the same contractors in there and they know your drill, your game plan, and they're going to get multiple houses from you a year to fix up, you're going to get better prices from them, and then their time schedule too. Just like these guys, my wife was like, "Hey, you got that done in 9 days." Yeah, because I had everybody lined up to go in after each other. The only thing that threw me off was I couldn't get the new washer and dryer in the cubby hole, so we had to take down a little portion of a wall and rebuild it, which gave me an extra 2 days of doing the remodel and then getting the flooring guy back to fix the floor. So it wasn't too bad.
Okay. And I think we've skipped a question here from Gerlinda. Okay, so she asked, how do we put together the lending terms for someone who has money? And if you were going to assign it, what would that approach look like?
If I was going to assign this, let's just say this apartment, if I bought it for 55, I probably would have signed it for 60. It would have been a smaller fee on the assignment because it's just a smaller deal. But most of the assignments that I'm going to do are 15,000 or more. So it's either 15 assignment fee or 30,000 remodel. But typically these remodels end up being 45 to 50,000 if you spend 4 months owning it.
mm-hmm. So the question is 40,000 in 4 months or 15,000 next week.
Yeah.
Right.
But sometimes you'll hit them and you'll make 40 on the assignment, but we don't need to talk about that. It's just, it's just getting to know whoever your client, not your client, but seller is, and figure out what they want.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you put together your terms for private money if you're going to someone that you know that might not be a hard money lender?
I try to find the cheapest person.
I know, but how do you what's your contract look like? I'm assuming, do they carry a deed of trust is my assumption.
Yep.
But I don't know. Do you put them on title? How are you working those?
I don't put them on title, but they get a deed of trust and then they promissory note at closing.
Mm-hmm. And your attorney does the deed of trust and promissory note?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I usually don't pay anything. On this one, I haven't paid anything out of pocket. I got money at closing. So I bought it for 63. I borrowed 75. So $11,000 cash. And at closing, I just paid contractors out of the closing. So I had checks prepared from the title company. So it worked out good.
You didn't pay your 2 points up front? You're paying your 2 points on the back end?
Yep.
Whoa. Okay. That's
well, it's the same price. I'm paying 2 points and 75. So what is that? $2,800. Mm-hmm. So my all-in cost on this is 83, and I'll sell it for at least 108. So hopefully I'll get offers about 112. So it'll end up being about 23,000 as a net.
What are you listed at?
109 right now. 109,800. I thought it would be busy showing, but I've only had 3 showings, no offers yet. So we'll see. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Pam, yeah, the deed of trust is basically, I mean, there's some little differences, but it's basically the same thing as the mortgage. It's the recorded promise to pay the lender back is what it is. Um, so it basically secures the mortgage. So not the same thing. It's kind of the security and the recorded at the county level um, deed that says I'm paying this entity or individual back, and these are the terms. Um, no, any attorney, any real estate attorney is going to be able to draft a deed of trust for you, and every single one might look a little bit different. Deeds of trust,
Yeah.
they follow general state rules. A deed of trust has to have this, this, and this, but they might all look a little bit different depending on who prepared it. A lot of times, mortgage lenders in the loan docs, they will send over a specific deed of trust the way that they want it. If you're dealing with someone that doesn't do a lot of deals like this, that's usually the attorney that's going to draft the deed of trust.
Yeah, it's real simple. It's a template to them, most likely.
Yeah.
I guess
And when
really
you
what I
start
was
turning,
asking, sorry,
go
David.
ahead.
What I was asking is, do you use that in place of a mortgage? I don't like typically here in Florida, we do a note and mortgage. And now that I think about it, maybe there is a deed of trust in my loan packages that I get from my private lender's attorney, and I've not paid attention to it, but I was wondering if it was in place of.
No, there is a deed of trust in your package.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
not, yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Can I
Yeah.
add something to that?
Yep.
Sure.
In Virginia, we have a deed of trust, which means that it doesn't have to go to court in order for the mortgage holder to foreclose on an individual or a family. But they also have the ability to modify their terms and to make adjustments. They don't have to wait. It's usually 90 days for a pre-foreclosure to the trust being recalled. But just it's every state has its own decision about how they do it and whether or not you have to go to court.
Good.
Yeah, we're never going to go that way because I'm not going to destroy a relationship with the investor. If I have to lose money on a deal and I can't get anybody to buy it and I can't afford the interest payments, I'm just going to sell it for the money I have in it and get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a high risk game, especially if you have 4 or 5 projects going on. We used to. But it's usually not the case where they're going to have to ever foreclose on me because I'm not make sure the numbers are right. And that's what the Excel sheet's really good for.
So I'm gonna take this one, David. If you're using something different, that's fine. But Adelia, and I'm so sorry. I'm pretty sure you've told me how to pronounce your name before, and I just feel like I'm butchering it. So please forgive me if I am.
It's Delia. That's
Delia.
okay.
Okay. Got it. So at least I got it right on the second try. Last week or the week before, we were talking about voice over IP systems for your outbound dialing, and you are using I guess it's the QO app that you're on a trial for. So we're moving to Mojo. I was pretty hesitant to use Power Dialer and probate lead prospecting for a couple of reasons. First off, is most of the folks that I have doing the initial cold call are not U.S. citizens for the most part, and if English is even if it's a second language that you grew up with, every now and then you can run into a name here because we're such a wide, diverse country. You can run into names that I have a hard time with, and if you haven't grown up here seeing the wide variety of different names, the last thing I want is someone who is trying to think about a prospecting call to hear hello at the same time they see somebody's name that they can't pronounce. And suddenly they're like, how do I pronounce this name? What do I do? And I just want them to be able to like either click to call or copy paste and know who they're calling and know that that they've got the pronunciation of towns and address streets and names mostly correct before that call is staring them in the face with a live person on the phone. Problem. Um, the phone carriers, the major carriers, have incorporated AI into their systems that are monitoring for flags. So you guys know that, at least you probably know, I like calling a lead at least 3 times a day. So if I call you today and you don't answer, I want you to see my number 2 more times that day, if not 3 more times. So 4 times sometimes. Apparently, the AI that is watching what we're doing, it just automatically has started flagging those calls as spam. Another thing is if you're making outbound calls, you want to keep your number of dials under 50 dials per day. But when you batch and you go from call to call to call to call to call off of the same number, the systems are recognizing that you're probably selling something. You're probably prospecting, and they're flagging those numbers as spam. I've been using a system called Just Call, and we're going to keep that system for a while for inbound and like slower outbound follow-up calls. It's a good system unless you're banging through a bunch of calls in a day to people that you don't know, because they're watching how long in between your hang up and another dial is there. If you're going dial, talk, hang up, dial, talk, hang up, dial, talk, hang up, and you're doing that 4 or 5, 6 times in a row on the same number, that AI and the carrier's AI is going, this is prospecting. Spam it. And of course, once your number is spam, it's hard to undo. It's really hard to undo. So we're moving to Mojo. I've used Mojo Cells, the dialer, in the past. I've used a bunch of other dialers. We're going to use the click to call function. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's a lot less expensive than having to buy a new $6 or $7 phone number every single day for the ISAs. So Mojo is a pretty good, and again, I've used it. AirCall is also pretty good, but AirCall is going to have the same spam flags that any other phone system is going to do. The reason we went to Mojo is because we can whitelist a phone number. Essentially, we can register it with the carriers and say who we are. I resisted that as well, but I'm going to have to give up on some of the things that I didn't really like. I didn't really want when we called for it to say Estate Aid Network or Probate Mastery or Bruce Hill Group at LPT Realty. I really didn't want it to show that on caller IDs or be registered as that. I'd like to stay a little bit anonymous when we cold call, but if that's what we have to do to keep numbers from getting automatically marked as spam on a daily basis and having to replace numbers, so be it. So for anyone that's doing any significant prospecting, more than 10 people a day, where you're going call, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up, and you're just going back to back, you're going to need to you're going to need a dialer like a Mojo or a Call Rail. I haven't used Call Rail, but that's a popular one as well. Like a Call Tools. I'm super familiar with Mojo and RedX. Those are the two systems I've used significantly in the past. All right. Anything to add, David? Anybody else? Anything to add?
No. Hopefully, y'all use the Excel sheet and just go over and add some confidence to your appointments.
Yeah, you put that in chat, right?
I did, and on Facebook, so in the group.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thanks, David. Appreciate it. We went a little bit over.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Appreciate everybody being here, and everybody thank David. Go to the Facebook group and thank David for showing us his deal and his spreadsheet today. It's been good, informative.
I hope so. Thank you.
See you guys next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Which Facebook group is it? Is it the public one?
Which Facebook group, David?
Probate Mastery, I guess. Yeah.
Alumni. Okay. If you
Alumni,
could post it to Estate Professionals Mastermind. So Probate Mastery Alumni is for our Probate
Oh.
Mastery student alone. Estate Professionals Mastermind is the one anyone can join. Cool. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks so much. See you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, David. Bye.